Hey, Larry Bailey, Awesome Technologies Inc. Sorry to keep you guys holding. First, Brian's like, first. Brian, you're awesome. Where are you, Brian, by the way? Because I want to try and get actually regional events to happen this year, because last year I felt like I didn't get a chance. And so before I get into that in Frozen Midwest, all right, good. Are you out with Amy and the gang? We can go meet in Amy's basement if you are. I heard it's a good place. Well, we're going to Amy's basement. Hey, everybody, Larry Bailey, Awesome Technologies. It is January 16th. It is Tuesday. It is 4 o'clock Eastern. That means we're getting together as a community. And today we're going to talk a lot. Amy's it is, right, Katie? And we're going to talk a lot about ticketing platforms and comparing to collaborative platforms. I'm going to talk a lot about that because I've got some real live use cases. But first and foremost, of course, it is all about the community. So as you have questions, the whole point of getting together is to ask and talk about them. Angie, how's your problem with your view only thing that was going on in the community earlier? Hopefully that's been resolved. It's fixed, great. And the reason it was a problem is because, let us know. And we'll talk about whatever, maybe the ICE conference. Early bird special is ending in 2 weeks. If you haven't already gotten your tickets and we are a mutual client, let me know. I can get you a discount code. The Vista install went great, Jody, but I can't get to the internet now. I have to download Chrome off of some other machine. And the only reason why I'm keeping that sucker is because it's got a writable DVD-ROM. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Anyway, so Luba says my problem is now spread to 2 people. Luba, do you want to talk about your problem with the group? Because I have no idea what your problem is, because I've been in meetings like nonstop. So let me know. ICE. Oh, Angie. ICE seems to think the LO persona somehow got corrupted. That's an interesting problem and an interesting analysis. We'll have to find out more about that. And Jody says, dude, like $30 on Amazon for USB one. I mean, that's not working. Oh, you mean like a little USB computer? I know. It's just sentimental. It's like almost an antique, or it is an antique. The error message on the custom print form, Luba. I gotcha. Hey, Brian, don't feel bad. I just found a Blu-ray player in my tote of technology that's been up in my attic for at least 5 years that I'm giving to Goodwill because somebody needs a Blu-ray player, right? Anyway, does anyone have anything they want to talk about? I tell you what, John, I have 2 VCR players because I have VCR and then the mini DVD tape things, all the technology, and then of course CD-ROMs and those kinds of things. I got so many home movies on these VCRs. That I still have to get converted over. And so Jolene says, hey, I pulled out a VCR a couple weeks ago to watch a homemade movie. Trust me, if you're at least 40 years old, you probably got some VCR homemade movies somewhere. So don't get rid of your VCRs because those suckers are expensive to replace. They really are. Cassette Walker, yeah. I tell you what, if you've got a Sony Walkman cassette player, that's another doozy. So Encompass is changing. Overnight, I dropped 2 updates, one for ECS, also known as Mavent, and then the other for Encompass Dock Solution, also known as EDS. 2 simple updates, no big deal. Expect that update train to get moving. Keep in mind, ICE still has it on the docket to go live with 24.1 sometime in March. We still don't know exactly when. We all hope it's not the same time as the ICE conference. Don't let that cat in the background distract you. But we'll see. And so I'm not seeing any problems coming on. 22 other folks besides me have shown up. Thank you very much for your time today. Hey, listen, I just saw a name on here. Mora. I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Are you still having a problem with Input Form Builder? Did you want to talk about it? If not, it's okay. And I do want to bring something up. We're just finishing up Mastering Encompass as an admin. It's an ongoing live course. I do want to remind folks that the reason why I do these courses is because we all don't remember everything. And the only way you go through to becoming a real master of Encompass is to literally try to touch everything as often as possible. And without use cases, it gets really tough. So that's the reason why I put these courses together, was to really remind people about what's going on, how things work, how they're supposed to be used, not necessarily how you are using them, and then best practices behind that. So I can tell you that I last year, as Mortgage Workflow Partners, we ended up working with about 25 different companies, maybe close to 30. Out of those, I did 5 or 6 full workflow reviews of the entire organization. And I can tell you, we still found closers and post-closures, not closers, but post-closures working off spreadsheets. We constantly found underwriters working off handwritten notes, and those kinds of things. So I don't think that there's ever a moment where you can't learn something new on your own, or even better, that you need to revisit something that you don't know how to do, and it's important to keep testing your skill sets. Like earlier today, I was working with somebody about writing fields to the 4506, so the IR fields on the second 1003 set, and I'd forgotten that you can't use your normal drop down on the form as a trigger, because Encompass doesn't see the IR 0101 as a second 1003 set. It only sees it as the first. So you've got to use another trigger to fire advanced code to handle second and subsequent 1003 sets. I've forgotten it, haven't touched it in a while, but we had a use case to work through, and it was important to remember what to do. Luda says, can you do something on DDM rules? Yeah, let's do like a thing. I saw that ICE is doing like a DDM course or something before the ICE experience. And it kind of got me bummed out that we don't just have something real simple. But yeah, if you guys want to do like a DDM private session for like a Thursday, live recording, let me know. We can do that. I'm totally down with that, Lube. I'm sure other folks would love to talk about DDMs also. So maybe we'll just set that up as not as a Tuesday thing, but as a live recording, and then we can post it. So Thursdays, no, Brian, I switched Thursdays to no longer being live, because I have a lot of interviews. Like I just did an interview with Naveed Pandwani, who works for ATI and owns this thing called Encompass. And so like I want to do one thing on Tuesdays, and then throughout the week also do some recording updates. So hopefully you're not getting it on your recurring calendar. Hopefully it's off your recurring calendar. There's no live event on Thursdays anymore. And yeah, I'll post it out. Looks like we've got at least 2 or 3 people who are interested in DDM. So I think it's great. We had an issue today earlier where the admin had written the DDM for the fee rules, which is line 902, but didn't write it in the field rules. So what was happening was the annual was going in fine, but not the monthly. And so we kind of dug into that and realized that, it's okay to have it in the fee for the 2015 itemization, but the money is really in the field rules for DDM for FHA. It's all about FHA. So keep the questions coming. I'll keep you on chat. I'm going to share my big purple screen, and I want to talk about project management, because people just forget. And for those that are watching the replay, I almost forgot. It's been a few minutes. Watch the rest of this replay. Get over to mortgage.community, log in, sign up, hang out with this cool crew, and learn some new stuff. But we don't put the full video out on socials, because that's not fair. We got to make people show up. All right. So here's the thing. When I looked at project management for organizations, the thing that I really try to stress when I go out into projects and work with clients, and you guys answer for yourselves, but how often have you found it in where you're in the situation where you're being asked to do a lot of things, and you lose track of what's open, what's closed, what's on pause, who you're waiting on something for? Did they say yes and proceed? Did they say no? When was the thing due? All these things, right? This is real life. This is real life in administrators' world. And my problem is, of course, I've got that times, a multiple. because we're helping different projects with different clients across different time zones with different people and different deadlines, those kinds of things. And so for me, the only way to stay organized is to have a unified experience internally across multiple projects so that I don't lose my mind completely. And most importantly, I don't let a client down. And so for us, I moved to Basecamp. I'm going to actually not be able to show you. Let me come off the screen real quick and I'll show you what it looks like in a new project. And the reason why I want to show you this isn't because I'm getting paid by them or anything. It's literally because I want you to understand that there is something out there that's relatively cheap. It's $15 a month per user. And the idea is that I'll just do this over here and we'll keep these on and we'll create this project. And the idea is it allows you to organize things. And most importantly, it allows you to collaborate. So I shared on LinkedIn, I don't know if anybody saw it because LinkedIn is its own thing, but we also at ATI, we use Jira for tickets. And so a lot of people will say, oh, I run my desk off tickets. I come across this constantly. And a ticket could be an email also. But the idea is my problem with tickets is they're binary, meaning they typically have something you want to get done and then you track what you did and then you finish it or you don't finish it. And Angie, I used Smartsheet back when I worked with AFR before I found Basecamp as a project tool. And we always use Smartsheet to track the status of tickets, but within Smartsheet, I would put a link to the project. And the reason why is because tickets are really just a to-do list. And so what I want to hear from everybody is when you go through, how are you managing your stuff? So Angie says Angie uses Smartsheet. Brian uses HappyFox and Luba uses tickets. And for projects, started using Google Sheets. And so, if I go into things that have to be done, I can come over and I can see, hey, there's things have to be done. One of the things that I found, and I don't know, you guys tell me if you've also found this, but one of the things I found to be problematic with a list, which includes tickets, Brian, you'll have to tell me more about HappyFox. And Jody, you'll have to tell me more about Open Project. Teamwork I'm familiar with, and I'll talk to Teamwork. Teamwork again is kind of collaborative, kind of not. And Kirsten uses Teams in OneNote, and I'll work on that. I'll give you some feedback on that I've noticed. And then Jira and Rike. I've worked on all these platforms. I've worked on Rike with success. I've worked in Teams right now. Jira I have with ATI. Smartsheets I use with AFR. Open Project I haven't used. Teamwork I used at Kenzie May. Freshdesk also was at Kenzie May for tickets. I've used all this stuff. And the part that I want you to come back to, Monday I tried using Monday and it sucked for me. The thing I want to come back to is how are you collaborating? So all of these programs, every single one that I mentioned that's there in the chat, how are you actually collaborating on the ticket? And this is where things fall apart. And so Brian makes a good point. He's like, what collaboration is a team of one? But you're not a team of one. You've got a business making a request. You've got, a third party, maybe it's ICE or maybe it's OB or maybe it's whoever, that they have to interact. And so like Teams falls down depending on your security level with Teams because you can't collaborate with outside people in Teams. These ticketing platforms aren't able to give you the full picture of what's happening. Jody says we have each department broken into companies, quote unquote, and then we have the business users log in so they can see their projects and update tasks inside the project. So Jody, I'll ask you in that situation, can you see outside? Meaning, can I go look at what's happening with everything all at once? And can I see everything that's due? Can I see the activity? Can I see what Larry worked on versus what Jody worked on versus what an outside consultant worked on? And this is what I found, sorry for my voice, this is what I found is really important. And what I wanted to share with today, some of the pluses and minuses. You guys keep talking, please, about what you found works well with tickets. But what I really want to hear is anybody working on collaboration, meaning I'll give you a good use case. You've got a ticket that needs to be worked on, but you're waiting for something within that ticket from somebody else. Is the somebody else tied to the ticket with you? That's my question. And because until that other person gets tied into the ticket with you, it gets lost. Now, Teams handles this really well. If you use the new planner, because within the card you can have tasks, and you can assign the card out, but the problem is you can't assign the tasks out. So that's where I found with again, I'm picking on Basecamp because this is what I use. And so if I add a card in here, find out what's needed, I'm going to assign myself on it, and it's due on the 19th. And so within the card, I can come in here and now I can add steps. And this is kind of like Teams, except within the step, I can come in here and assign this to somebody else. And within the step 2, I can assign that to somebody else. And so that's kind of where, when I look at things that I've found that have worked for project management, things I wanted to share with you as a community and for you guys to talk about, it isn't the documentation of what has to be done. It's the delegation of who's doing the work. And then most importantly, making sure your business understands what you're working on and what that looks like. Something like that. So again, it doesn't have to be Basecamp. I just want to talk about the conversation. This is just what I do. You don't have to do this. So Luba says, my problem with using something like Basecamp or anything else is no one is going to go in here and update things. That's a problem. And I'm telling you right now, as a business, 2024, it's going to be busier than 2023, no matter who you work for. And if you've got a business who's asking you to do something and they're not vested in helping you get that done, it's going to be all on you. And it's also going to be very stressful, and it could be better. And so one of the things I would impress back to you, Luba, or anybody else that's feeling the same way at their company, I know I do it with ATI. I tell the folks that I have expectations of stuff getting done, and I want them to tell me if they're waiting for me to do something, they got to tell me. And so in your case, whatever you're using, all these tickets or the platforms, or Jody, for you, the open project, does it allow you to delegate that work to the other person? And if so, how easy is it for them to go in and know something has to be done? And this, by far, the easiness is what Lube is talking about. If you don't make it easy for the other person to go into the thing that you're using to do the work that you need them to do so that you can get your work done, how do you expect it to get done? Like, that's the circular argument, right? And so I don't know if anybody wants to speak to that more, if anybody wants to come up on stage and really talk about it instead of me just talking about it. But I'm telling you right now, in terms of projects that succeed, like really well, projects that are adequate, and projects that fall down, there is a clear delineation between the projects that are either adequate or succeed really well and the ones that fall down. And the ones that fall down is we lose momentum. We get confused. We get distracted. We get reprioritized. And nobody knows what the hell's going on. I see it all the time. I see it across companies, large and small, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, because of my involvement with ATI. And so I'm very adamant about doing this. So Jody says, this is going to open project. You can assign a task to a person. I know Teamwork has dashboards that breaks that down, which you can then go in and see what is assigned to. Right, and Teamwork, listen, I used it, and obviously it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm not advocating one or the other. I just want to make sure that I know my experience going into Teamwork it was very confusing for me to figure out the project. My tasks, really clear. Like I could figure out my tasks, but how that ties into the overall health of the project and who's doing what and which steps are in each task kind of a thing, for me, it was really tough. And it was probably user error, it was probably me. But maybe it was the UI. Maybe it was something that could have been resolved. I don't really care what you use. The purpose of today's call was to really just kind of isolate out. If you're in a ones and zeros kind of project where it's a task list and all you have to do is figure out what's got to get done, and you got things that I got to get done, and the things are in this list, and that's it. Like I'm going to the grocery store last night and I had to get these 8 things. I checked them off, done. Now, what if I needed to go to the grocery store and depending on what they had would determine my overall menu, which then might change my list? How would I deal with that? Well, that gets me into something as simple as, this part. Like if I go to the grocery store and the grocery store I wanted to go to was closed. So now I have to go to a different store. Well, do they have what I need? I don't know. We need to go find out. And so I'm using this grocery store analogy because it happened to me last night. But the idea is when you're working through your projects, I'm letting you know that whatever you're experiencing today, if you're in this static ones and zeros checklist and you're getting lost, especially after a couple of months being in the project, or even a couple of days in some cases, the list is huge. There's multiple lists and they're all over the place and they're not assigned to anybody with due dates. Please do something about that. And if you need any help, if you want any insights, any coaching, please reach out to me directly. Be glad to talk to you about how I go through and what I found to be really helpful, no matter what platform you're using. All these platforms that were mentioned today, again, like I said, with the exception of Open Project, I've worked in all of them. I know how they work. I know how they work well and how they can fall down depending on your use case. So with having said that, is anybody not using a task management platform or a project management platform? And if you're not, at least go and investigate within Office 365, within Teams, you have this thing called Planner. If you don't know how to use that, there's plenty of tutorials out there on how to use it. It is by far better than nothing, and it is organizationally specific, which means you can at least call everybody in your Active Directory into that task or into that card, and you can make them responsible. And it has built-in chat, and it has built-in message board, and it has built-in documents, obviously. You can look at it as a card list, or you can look at it as an other format. So those are things that I would bring up and talk about in here in this conversation of tickets versus projects. One last thing I'll add here, because I don't have any questions or see anybody wants to join. Again, I always try to turn the mirror on myself. And so at ATI, what we do is we have our clients go over, if you've ever been to, if I could spell correctly, I swear I can spell correctly. So if you go to Awesome Tech Inc., if you go to the page, you've got this client portal. This is basically a Jira portal. And so if you come in here, you go into the desk, you can create a ticket, it comes in. This is phenomenal. Like tickets are great for identifying specific issues. And I can tell you the amount of effort that goes in behind this to consolidate reports, to see what time is spent on which project with which client, and who did the work and how it was connected to an overall sense of what's happening. It's a lot of work. Like Lisa Perkins from ATI, every Monday, she's got to go in and look at all of our tickets and do a lot of manual entry. And we're a tech company. And I want to convert that to our Bullseye platform because it's our platform. Why aren't we using it? So more to come on that. But the idea is this works perfectly fine, but it's not going to give you the overall sense of what's happening with the overall engagement. And that's what I want to really, again, I want to really prescribe for you. Everybody who's using the different types of tools, I would really love for you to look at your own company as your own project. And once a week, document what are you working on this week. couple times a week at the end of the day, what did you work on today? And start to build that cadence up to figure out if you're working on the right things and if your technology that you're leveraging is really supporting you in that way to be most successful. So Jody's typing up something on here. Anybody have any feedback on this? Again, I've been going on a monologue now for quite a while. For those that have these other platforms, like Katie, question for you, because you said in your note, use Teams and OneNote for projects. Do you have to share the project workbook with everybody for them to go? And then are you tracking your tasks in the OneNote? Are you putting those in Teams? Like, how are you? I'd love to understand that better because I know other people use OneNote. So yeah. Jody says, I think there's something to be said if you're working purely off tickets, it can often feel like you're behind because you're always reactive versus if you have a planned project, it can feel more productive, more proactive when you're building something to get to the next thing. Hey, Jody, I mean, you've done a lot on both sides of this, right? Where you're working off tickets and you're working off projects. And I can tell you that there's plenty of times where I document like a list. Like I've documented hundreds of things that have to get done. And then we pick which ones we're going to work on. So I've seen it that way too, where you can feel completely overwhelmed as you're building out a project because of a lack of prioritization or structure to the things in there too. Curious for you, Jody, when you go through and you're building out tickets in anybody else, really, everybody, does anybody have a backlog? So as tickets come in, but you're not going to work on them now, do you create a backlog? So Katie says, we use OneNote. We literally just type a name next to who does the task. When it's done, we check the box and initial what we did. That's totally fine. I guess you're not at the point now where you've got to really worry about like project reporting or anything like that. Brian says, I have a backlog. Brian, how often do you go through the backlog to find stuff to do, or does it literally just go there just so you don't lose it? Luba says, we throw them into a DevOps group within Freshdesk for backlogs we're talking about. Katie says, yes, we have 3 different levels of backlog. Katie, what are the 3 levels, please? Angela says, my company was just purchased by another. The previous company had a service engine. The new company has nothing, so this topic is extremely helpful today. Yeah, service engine. Oh, is that the platform service engine? I'm not familiar with that one either. Jody says we have a project that we stick tasks into, things we either would like to improve or be refactored. Okay. And then Brian says I have to get documentation before closing the tickets. Half are waiting for verification if they're working. Or I'm sorry, half for verification that they are working. Meaning your backlog tickets are confirmation from your users' acceptance, Brian? That's what I heard you say. Well, that's not a backlog. Honestly, that's just an open ticket with a due date that a user failed to meet. I don't think that's I wouldn't call that a backlog. Frustrating, absolutely. But it gets back to, think about if you had a list, we'll use Brian's example to kind of end with. You have a list of people that owe you something that they haven't given you. I love to collect. Like, I got people that owe money right now. I got to go collect. I got no problem with that because I know I did the work. I want to get paid. So for you, Brian, you did the work. You want to get paid, meaning you want to close the ticket. Go get your $2. Hopefully everybody knows what that reference means. Let's see. Amy says, quick tickets get done right away, and then the ones that take more effort move to a mini project list. Okay. And then let's see here. Jody says we started to try to have monthly meetings to at least review and see what we can possibly knock out. Jody, I would say to you, just give everybody 5 things to review. Like, unless it really has to be collaborative. I don't know why you have to meet. I'm sure there's a reason, but hopefully you don't have to always meet to figure out if you should do something. Someone should just decide to do it or not to do it. Let's see. Katie just says her 3 levels for backlog are priority 1, 2, and 3. Is level 1 got to get done now, or is level 3 got to get done now? Katie, just curious for you. I want my $2. I know, I want my $2. Level 1 has got to get done now. Well, let's make level 1 getting to Amy's basement for the next regional event when we all thaw out. How's that? That's a level 1 backlog. Anyway, I'll try to end on a funny note because I try to keep it funny because this business can suck sometimes, and you gotta find humor in a lot of things. So I'm going to continue. You're going to see me kind of really continue to talk about project management from a collaborative standpoint. I think tickets are fine. I think people have to have tickets. But ultimately, if I have 10 tickets from 10 different people on the same issue, one issue, right? And maybe the one issue is a broken persona, like we had with Angie earlier today. So it's not 10 tickets necessarily. It's one problem. And kind of bringing that together. If you've got a platform that can consolidate those 10 tickets into one thing, you tie everybody together so you can give everybody an update, great. If you don't, it can suck. And so to bring that up bigger, if you're getting into a project, document everything, decide if it's a 1 or a 0 answer, meaning is it a checklist or is it a flow of things that have to get done? And you're going to discover what has to get done. And then you're going to figure out how to do that stuff. And then you're going to work on it. And then you're going to go into UAT. Like that's like a mini project, kind of what Katie and Amy were saying, versus a checklist, which is what tickets are. So yeah, it is. It is. So Katie's comment was that does suck. Mad rush to a group email to do tickets that keep coming in. Yeah. And then you got to clean up all the tickets. And I mean, that's just life. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. I do try to keep these at 30 minutes. Remember, every Tuesday at 4 p.m., we're here. Topics are listed for the month. I try to stay a month ahead as much as I can. And takeaways DDM group, like a DDM meetup, we could set that up. I think there's some interest in that. Maybe next week. We'll put it on the calendar for midweek sometime. We'll do it as an open thing so you can join. And we'll do it as a Zoom meeting, actually. That way we can all talk instead of like this. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Please stay warm. Please be safe. There were some really horrible accidents out there all over the place where all the weather is. So hope everybody stays safe. I always thank you for coming to these, and be well. Hopefully we'll see everybody in March in person. That would be awesome. More snow. Yay, Brian. Hooray. You guys have a good rest of your day. Please be safe and figure out your task management to work for you. Let me know if I can ever help. You guys be well. See ya.